So, welcome back, you guys. It is the Drunk Capitalist here, and today we're going to talk about something that is going on all around the world. You know, I talk about scamming this, scamming that. I talk about credit, I talk about money, just finance in general. And I just want to start off by saying I'm probably never going to try to sell you anything because I got nothing to sell, like, to be honest. But let's talk about it. Jay Morrison is one of those first people that I found on YouTube that was talking about real estate and finance, and this was when I was back in college. Now, I really got invested into Jay Morrison. When I say invested, I don't actually mean with money. Let me rephrase. I was watching a lot of his videos. I was extremely intrigued at the time about real estate because I wanted to know, like, how to, buy a house. Like, what can I do to make cash flow? Like, I was renting at the time when I was in college, and I had a landlord who worked a full-time job. I believe he was like an IT engineer or something, and he owned multiple properties. And I wondered like how he did it, and I saw his cash flow in it, and where I was living wasn't even that expensive, and I thought that was a lot of money. We're talking about $800 for like a 3-bedroom. So it's like, I really was interested in how to make money, and I wanted to learn about real estate. And me being the type of person I am, I love to support Black people. So I saw this Black man, he was on the news here, he was on this, he was on DJ Vlad. So I thought he was legit because he was on all these seemingly very legit media outlets, right? And it turns out, well, we all know how that turned out. It's Jay Morrison, ain't it? Like, we know this guy. I'm sure if you clicked on this video, you already know who he is. But I'm here to tell you about how Jay Morrison almost got in my pockets. And just in general, how these guys and some women are able to pull on your heartstrings and, dig into your wallet and take your money out of it and run away. And I didn't fall for it. Well, here's the thing. I did fall for it, but I didn't have no money. So had I had money, I would have given it to him. That's the problem. So I want you guys to understand that once I get into the stories, that I didn't actually give him any money because I didn't have any money. That was the whole point of why I was looking at all these YouTube videos and trying to figure it out. I didn't have a job. Like, I didn't have a career job. I was in college. Like, I was working at an accessory store. Like, I didn't have anything. So I didn't have the money, but this was prior to him starting the TULSA real estate fund, which we all know and despise. This was when he was just making those videos and just doing the whiteboard, around the time when he started that like corner class situation. And I was like, really, like, I felt inspired and empowered by the videos that he was making, like, and him wanting to educate everyone around the neighborhoods and, like, low income neighborhoods. And I didn't know that these type of people existed who would literally prey on you and just see that you're already down and out and you just want the best for yourself and your people, and then literally just snatch your money right from you. Act like they're an activist, but really they're just active scammers. I didn't know that this was real, but Jay Morrison was my introduction to that. And I don't hate him for what he does. Some people make a career of being a-holes, and there's nothing we can really do about that. All we can really do is learn the methods by which they use, learn the signs, see the signals, and avoid these people, because they're gonna be out here regardless. Like, he didn't invent scamming. Like, he didn't invent it, and he's not gonna be the last. He's certainly not the first. So just getting into the story, it was just like, I'm in my college apartment watching these videos. I'm like, wow, okay, if I buy a multifamily house, I could do this. And he's like, oh, you can get an FHA loan 3 times. And I'm like, I can get it 3 times. I could put down 3.5% 3 times. I could put down 4% 3 times and own all these houses. And like, okay, how am I gonna make that happen? Isn't the rules this way? Oh, and I start, of course, me being me, I'm always gonna research and read. I love to read and find out how to make money. I like attracting money. It likes me. So I'm reading up on some of the things he's saying. Some of them make sense, some of them are not as consistent. I'm like, oh, well, he's the expert, he's the real estate guy, he's on the news, so I must be reading and misunderstanding something. But I had no money anyway, so it didn't matter. And I was thinking, okay, let me try to get my real estate license, because I didn't have no job, I didn't graduate yet. I was like, all right, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I was just really trying to figure out what to do with myself. I still wanted to do film, and I was like, well, I might not become a famous filmmaker, but at least I can own some property. Like, isn't that the dream? Like, having property, having cash flow, having the ability to have my rent paid by someone else while I use my working income to fund my filmmaking projects. Like, that's what was going through the mind of 21-year-old Bianca right before I got into all that credit card debt, by the way, but we're not talking about that. But just him implanting in me and me believing in him, and then every time I would watch one of his video would drop, I would watch it and like try to soak up some of the game, all this stuff. And obviously it's the suit, it's the fresh haircut, he's not a bad looking man, so I was even like, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, he has everything you would want, and he has this vibe of you kind of want to trust, except for when he get real squinty eyed. Every now and again his eyes get real squinty, just be like, but that's beside the point. Now fast forward like not too long after, maybe about 12 to 18 months afterwards. At this point I'm already in my little credit card debt situation, and I'm watching some of his videos, and he's introducing this new thing called the TULSA Real Estate Fund. Now with the TULSA Real Estate Fund, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, yo, this is amazing. This is exactly what Black people need. Like, because I'm big on that. I understand that, what Black people need is not just social justice, it's financial justice. That's what we need. We need to come together, put our chips in order, and start owning things, because that's literally the way of America. That's what this is about. It's about capitalism. You need to figure out how to make money, and making money make money. That's all that it is. It's really just that simple. And he was introducing this and having a plan, and I'm like, wow, a Black man with a plan. Like, that's all I ever wanted to see. Like, and I was seeing it, or so I thought I was seeing it. And then he was married, had a Black wife, like everything was literally picture perfect of what a young girl who wants to be successful will want to see and take leadership from. I was like, oh, this is it. He's starting the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. I want to support my people. I'm going to invest in this. I had no money though. I'm going to invest in this. It's only $500 for, I think, one of his stocks or whatever. But then, I started reading about how his stock worked. And, and I was just, I understand. I had already started investing in stocks, not in a small sense. Not like, it wasn't like I had big money in stocks. I wasn't making hundreds of dollars a day or anything like that. I had some small investments. I did a lot of reading about stocks, but the Tulsa Real Estate Fund was supposed to be some type of stock, but obviously wouldn't be traded in the stock market. But then they said it was SEC approved, and all the jargon, the lingo, and making it seem very, very legitimate. I believe he purchased a property in Atlanta. I think it's like the Black Center or something like that. And I was like, this is great. As soon as I pay off this credit card debt, man, I'm gonna get my $500 together and I'm gonna invest. I'm actually going to invest in this because I believe in our future. Even when I read the returns is around 1%, which is terrible. Like, I was still like, I want to invest because it's not just about me, it's about the future generation. So even though I feel like I'm only going to get $2 in return next year from my $500 investment, I would love to see that my great grandkids will get bigger returns in the future when the properties are valued higher, because I understand the entire concept of what he was trying to achieve, but it turns out he wasn't actually trying to do any of that. And the way that his entire company was structured raises a lot of bells. Like, it raises alarms. Like, who's the CEO, the COO, the CFO? Why is Ernestine, his wife, so involved? Like, why is it friend here, brother there? And like, at first it's kind of like, all right, that's cool because, you know, we're keeping it, you know, within the community. So of course you're gonna have brothers, uncles, and wives, I guess, and, you know, sisters and sons and dads. Everyone's gonna be involved. But then on the other hand, you really have to question when one person has multiple roles in a multi-million-dollar company. But then you have like the DJ Vlad video when DJ Vlad explained to Jay Morrison why he would not invest in the Tulsa real estate fund. And I already have my issues with Mr. Vlad, and I do believe he's cops. But you know, Vlad takes a lot from the black community, and then for him to literally say to a black man's face, hey, I see what you're trying to do here, I'm not going to support you. But hey, I'm not biased, so I still looked at research to contrast against what Jay Morrison was saying. I looked at other real estate people who were making real estate videos and talking about the same things of doing like house hacking and buying real estate, how to start in real estate, how to use the FHA, how to do this, how to start your down payment, how much you need, what APR is, all this stuff. So I was still getting outside information. I didn't make Jay Morrison my one and only guy. I was just very inspired, and he was the guy for me at the time because he was, to me, the only black man that was talking, that I found on YouTube at least, that was talking about this, that was doing moves, that was outside, that was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So it's very easy for him to get in my pocket. He just didn't make it in there. So yeah, a lot of that happened, and then I watched a few videos, I believe with like Tone Talks and a few other guys that pretty much like exposed the whole thing and really broke down, like, and I'm talking about long videos. These are not guys that are sitting around making, 10-15 minute videos like me. I'm talking about guys that sat down, didn't have the best camera, didn't have the best mic, but they wanted to get the message out, and because they have the knowledge, they have the education to say, hey, what this guy is saying makes no sense, here's why. And I can understand when someone's speaking and when someone's breaking something down, someone's providing evidence, providing details, and really breaking it down. And when these guys broke it down, because I didn't just watch one video, I'm talking about I watched multiple 2-3 hour live stream videos, listening to all the details and everything back, and people telling their stories about how Jay Morrison duped them, and it just started falling apart for me. And that's when I was like, well, I'm not investing $500. I watched a woman talk about like her like $2,000 investment and how she got basically nothing back, and these investments weren't liquid. And that's one of the parts when I was reading up on the actual documents that were a part of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, because it had a website. You were able to read what the like stock was and like how liquid it was, and basically it's kind of basically like a non-refundable loan coming from you. I mean, sorry if I didn't explain what the Tulsa Real Estate Fund is. It's pretty much like the black community, his effort of the bringing the black community together, everyone putting in $500, and with that $500 from each person, or maybe half of the black community, we will have millions of dollars and have a real estate fund that would purchase properties around the United States and rent those properties out to whoever and collect the funds for those properties. Needless to say, that didn't happen. I'm not sure where that money is, unfortunately. I don't even know how much money he managed to collect, but I know it was quite a few $1 million. And it sounds like a great idea because it sounds pretty much a lot like most of the real estate funds that we see on the stock market, except with those funds are actually on the stock market, so anyone could invest in those at any time. It's basically trying to be BlackRock if BlackRock was black. Except it was owned by Jay Morrison. What a shame. Like, but really, that's my story. And these people are able to get into, because they can pull on those heartstrings of, like, you really wanting the best for your community, wanting the best for yourself, your future, your offspring, wanting the best for your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, just the best for the community in general. And they'll use that actual goodness in you against you and take your money, because that's all they care about. All they care about is flashy things. I wasn't on Instagram at the time, like in 2016, 2017, 2018. I was not on Instagram until 2020. So I wasn't really watching all these videos, but I saw his videos that he was dropping, and it started to make sense when I started watching. Like, he always has to have these fine suits, fine watches, and like the cars, the Bentley, the houses that him and his wife would pose in, and all of these things. And fast forward a couple years later, when pretty much his whole scheme is crumbling, and now he's throwing on dashikis. Like, because he's still trying to pull that African spirit out of you, because a lot of African Americans don't really have that full. They feel like they're missing a connection with their people in the diaspora, and he really tries to use that. And I feel bad for the people that actually fell into this, because it could have been me. But ever since this, I have been so on the fence about everybody that's on YouTube talking about money and trying to sell me something, because I ain't buying it. Sorry, I'll watch a video, you'll get paid from my ad revenue or whatever, but I'm not buying anything from you, and I'm not selling anything, because no, I don't want no parts. I would never want to look like this. It's just crazy. And it really hurts me that our own people would do stuff like this. And I'm not saying our own people as in, like, only black people do this to black people. White people do this to white people. Have you heard of Bernie Madoff? Like, that's what happens when you have blind trust. Like, this happens to rich people, this happens to poor people. These type of people just exist, and they will be around. They are good talkers. They are charismatic. They know how to swindle, and they learn enough of any subject for them to sweet talk you into anything. But yeah, like, if someone says they're rich but they're asking you for money, you should have your ears, like, eyes wide open. Like, huh? Why you need my money? Don't you got money? like literally, like, that's how you should really, really look at it. Because I understand that he proposed the Tulsa Real Estate Fund as a way for us to get there quick and in a hurry. But I also feel like if he was really about it, he would actually own some real estate. And when I learned that he didn't even really own no real estate, and the real estate he did own, he lost. And he just lost a bunch of, it's just a whole thing, man. But yeah, I just wanted to have this quick talk with you guys about it. And I just feel like we gotta find a way to, like, not let these people get so large. You know what I mean? Because I get the points that he was making. If he would have just not done the Tulsa Real Estate Fund and calmed himself down, stop trying to be flashy, just do the Legacy Center in Atlanta, have us invest in a Legacy Center where we're helping a bunch of people have access to computers, education, all this stuff, and space to work, that would have been way more positive. And that would just solve way more problems with him. And I'm sure he doesn't want to look like this, but at the same time, this is who he is. But something like the Legacy Center, I feel like, could be replicated in a bunch of different cities, urban areas all around the United States, and in the diaspora as well, Africa, the Caribbean. Like, I feel like those things are really important. Having a space that we can commune to that has access to stuff. But yeah, like, it's really sad. And I'm glad I didn't get got. I ain't never got yet. So far, I'm very on the fence still, like I said. And hopefully anyone that's viewing this, hopefully you didn't get caught out there. And if you did, my heart goes out to you. Hopefully it's not a lot. You can recover. You learned the lesson, and you're now on the fence about a lot of these people that come out here and chat, because that's what they be doing, and they be chatting. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. It's the Drunk Capitalist, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.